enthusiastically screaming for her teammates, sharing in their successes, and comforting them in their defeats. We are very lucky to have a teammate like Bridget with us, and she will be greatly missed next year. Next up, we have Colleen Ewing. Right from her freshman year, Colleen's approach or response to being asked to step outside her comfort zone has been, "Whatever you need me to do, coach." And although she protests a bit more vehemently now compared to back then, she is still always willing to do whatever it takes to help the team. She is now part of 3 different relay teams holding school records, leaving her indelible mark on the program. Colleen especially excels in the technical events and has put in many hours perfecting her skills in jumps and hurdles. Her work ethic and team-first mentality will be tough to replace. Thank you, Colleen. Next up, we have Chloe Higgins. Chloe is another athlete who has revolutionized our team. She currently holds 2 individual records in outdoor track and field, 200 meters and 400 meters, and is the key part of 4 record-setting relay teams already this season. She was a medalist in the 400 meters at the Meet of Champions last spring, one of a very few athletes through our program's history who have earned this honor. Over her career, Chloe has grown to become a dedicated leader, a very hard worker, and a true student of the sport. She is going on to continue her running career at Providence College, and they are incredibly lucky to have her. She will truly be impossible to replace. Thank you, Chloe. Next up, we have Ayana Hobbs. Ayana has been the core of our throwing program over the past 3 years. She brings natural athleticism and a true desire to improve, along with her good-natured approach to everything she does. The nature of our throwing group means that having a leader is very important, and Ayana has served that role very well as she has become an experienced member of the team. She makes new athletes feel welcome and is a supportive teammate and good instructor to her peers. I'm excited to see what Ayana can do over the rest of this season, as she is clearly poised for some big breakthroughs. Thank you, Ayana. Next, we have Ian Patchett. In addition to being the tallest member of our team, Ian has been an incredibly dependable member of our distance program ever since the day he stepped onto campus, and is willing to step up and do anything we need him to do. His consistency and dedication have resulted in him just continuing to chip away at his own personal best, serving as a shining example to everyone as to what you can do if you're willing to put in the time. I have never once heard Ian complain about a hard workout. He gives his absolute best every single day, whether at practice or a meet, and he doesn't really have off days. You can count on Ian every time he steps onto the track. Thank you, Ian. Next, we have Emily Reitman. As much as any athlete on our team, Emily really gets the philosophy of personal improvement that is integral to our sport and the foundational ethic of our team. She sets challenging but achievable goals for herself and then works incredibly hard to get them. There is not a person on this team who couldn't learn something from Emily about dedication and focusing on personal improvement. It has been very rewarding to see Emily achieve some of her goals recently, and I hope to see even more success for her over the rest of this season. Great job, Emily. Next is Jonah Tinkleman. Jonah is another athlete who shows immense dedication and focused determination to do the best he is absolutely able to do. Jonah has been forced to work through a number of injuries during his time with our team, but despite these setbacks, he always comes back ready to do whatever he can to keep on improving. Jonah is also very wise and listens to his body, and when he says he thinks he should stop a workout for the day, I know that is 100% the case, that he needs a break and isn't just trying to get out of training. Jonah never gives up, and I'm very glad to have been glad to have been part of his time with the team. Great job, Jonah. And last up, we have Kevin Tone. It has been great to have Kevin as a manager this spring. He's already been incredibly helpful in scoring the meets and keeping things nicely organized while I'm losing my mind on the side of the track. Kevin is dependable and a quick learner, and I'm thankful to have him this season. My only complaint is that he didn't think of doing this earlier. Thank you very much, Kevin. Nice job. Thank you, and a big congratulations to all of the class of 2024 for spring track and field. What a great group. All right, we'll get this meet going.
Real quick, we'd ask all the seniors together to take a picture. So if you ran away, please come back.
At this time, final call, boys and girls, 100 meters. All 100-meter runners should be down by the flagpole at this time.
On the far side for MBS is Clara Frey. Frey, who is a freshman, that is the lone MBS running in this event against one Mountain Lakes runner that is participating in this event. Mountain Lakes girls had a quality finish last year. They had several placers in the Morris County Championship. They've had a lot of success there under Coach Kerry Chisuli, who's in her second year, running track at Governor Livingston. And head coach for Mountain Lakes, Rebecca Misko, terrific thrower during her time at Madison High School and Bucknell. So here comes Clara Frey. This year, part of what has made MBS track successful is putting the records atop for everybody, and Clara is just a freshman. 70 PRs have already been set this year. Clara Frey, who's run indoor track, has a lot of potential. Clara is going to be joining the MBS, several MBS personnel will be accompanying one another together Thursday morning, leaving at about 5:30, 6 a.m. to participate in the 4x400 meter relay team at the Penn Relays at Franklin Field Legendary Place. The Penn Relays usually a Super Bowl for high school and college track. So we're finished with the 400 meter run and Clara Frey. Next we'll get ready for the 100 meters. And this is where senior day for Spencer Anderson is special. He's the most successful sprinter in the history of MBS. And there is head coach in his 14th season, Scott McCormick, as we introduce Coach. This year the boys team, of course led by Spencer Anderson, has some Morris County medalist possibilities, a state and county champion winner at the 400 meter. There's some great quality and some hurdlers. On the girls' side, though, there's tremendous depth led by the Ewings. They are two of a sense of triplets, Colleen and Bridget. Clara Frey also being very young, and Chloe Higgins. Higgins in last year's Tournament of Champions 200 meter finals. So it is a girls program under Scott McCormick that is very loaded and has a chance to place very well this year coming up in the Morris County tournament. Scott McCormick also coaches the winter track and field team in the indoors, and before coaching at MBS was an assistant indoor and outdoor track coach for 7 years at the Petty School in Hightstown in Central Jersey. And he's a Canadian that competed in track and field at the University of Saskatchewan, where it is still probably bitterly cold today. Getting ready for the boys 100 meter dash. Spencer Anderson will get his blocks ready over in lane number 3. And for Spencer being honored, he's already got the school record in this event, shares the 200. Last year in the Tournament of Champions with a 10.94, finishing 7th in the state as a junior, and defending champion in the Morris County Championship with a 10.89, so a little bit better than that, than his TOC number. But he's a back-to-back MCC champion in the 100. And Spencer Anderson, getting to the finish line of his high school career, knows he wants to run track somewhere, still undecided, but has numerous Division I offers. Has been a part of 4 different record-setting relay teams. So he gets himself ready. Meanwhile, Mountain Lakes had a very young boys team last year that did not place in the Morris County Championships, did not have many qualifiers. This year they're a bit on the rebound. Last year MBS finished 9th out of 19 boys in the Morris County Championships, while the girls 10th out of 20. on the girls' side. Getting ready for the boys 100. And Anderson out of lane 3. Anderson captures this race by a healthy margin. Mountain Lakes, though, is part of the dual meet aspect of it. They'll take second in the 100. So that'll help in terms of scoring points. And anytime you meet in these dual meets, it's not just about winning the race, but also your entire roster contributing. MBS boys start the day 1 and 2 in duals meets, while the MBS girls are 3 and 1 with their loss to Hanover Park. Anderson will also be participating in the 200 as usual and the 4x400 relay to complete his day. Now we get ready for a second section of the boys 100. And included is Nanakwasi Adutwam Ade, Kevin Elias, Vic Jack Elsevier ran in the first race. Michael Latarulo participate, David Mensa, William Ross, Ronnie Schreier, Mason Wellington, and Jawad Travis all lined up to race in the 2 sections of the boys 100. We had a little bit of weather in the area too, about 2 p.m. This turf field received the sprinkling. The field looks like in great shape. Finally the sun is out. There was a concern walking in, would the field feel a little bit wet just as all the athletes started to loosen up and warm up, but thankfully walking on the field, not even a scent of any kind of wet conditions. But it was certainly a legitimate shower just driving over here to Morristown Beard coming from north to south. And if anything, just the wind conditions will factor in, I think, for our distance races. We've had some sharp gusts that have come through, not consistently, but pretty sharp ones. Underway in the second heat of the boys 100. And it looks like Mountain Lakes narrowly takes this race. So when you're in the second heat, still those points will accumulate. Then we'll get one more section of boys 100, and then we'll move on to the girls part, where NBS has a load of 100-meter participants in this, including the terrific Rida Kareem, who is not going to run in this one. This is tricky because the Penn Relays being on Thursday, so for Scott McCormick, a number of his sprinters, because this being on Wednesday, it's just too tough and too tough on the body to run back-to-back, and you want to run your very best, save your very best, and be rested to run in Franklin Field. And it's also a very long day between the car ride, the stretching, and then the routine of being at the Penn Relays. I thought fascinating, and while I've seen the Penn Relays and highlights of it, it's actually it's a load of people, and they truly assembly line everybody through between the high schools in particular. The college athletes, it does seem that they have much more of a warm-up, where the high school events are paraded through like it's truly assembly line, where you're checking in and you better be ready to run in moments. So it's not like even a Tournament of Champions in New Jersey where you have a lot more time before a race to be prepared, like you would see on TV in the Olympics, where the athletes have a chance to truly be prepared for it and settle into the conditions. It's like going shopping but having a 5-minute clock on getting everything. It's just it's a very difficult rapid-fire situation at the Penn Relays. Final section of the boys 100 will have just 3. Now check that, there'll be 4 here. So Mountain Lakes will be able to score and add some more additional points. It's not just having winners in these lesser races, the second and third race, but also having enough participants in order to win dual meets. That's why track is truly as big of a team sport and as any other. That actually even your reserves may factor in more than they would in a sport like football. And perhaps this is our final 100 on the boys' side, where the girls lining up and getting ready to go next one. So that's all that's lined up, and now the girls will get ready. And the girls 100, I think in the first race, Naomi Green will run in the first heat. We'll see Skylar Laguerre, Madison Marks, Zoe Rowitz, Ayana Romans, Lily Rubenfield, and Jennifer Tyler. That'll run in the girls 100. Meanwhile, for Mountain Lakes, one of their top athletes, Maya Ritchie, unfortunately is done with a back injury, 2 serious injuries, and also Hannah Lees with a knee injury from a skiing accident, who is a top distance runner. Hannah Lees is also out for the season, a senior that was a qualifier in the Morris County Championships in the 3200 and the 1600, doing warrior work there in 2 long distance events. Raida Kareem running the 100, and she will coast to take that. Raida finishing 6th last year in the Morris County 100-meter hurdles and 3rd in Morris County in the 100 dash. And the TOC with a 12.63 in the preliminaries 100-meter dash. And Raida certainly has the goal of advancing further, but the 100-meter hurdles, which we'll see coming up, is her best event and could end up as the school record holder in the hurdles. Lining up for the second heat of the girls 100. And in lane 3, I do see freshman Madison Marks. Madison, fascinating story out of lane 3 because she's totally new to the sport of track with a gymnastics background, also has a lot of explosion in the legs that gymnastics forces you, and so she's been getting better every day. Is also hurdling, which is very natural for a gymnast too, so it's a little bit of an easier transition, and then a triple jumper. So Madison Marks out of lane 3. And Marks will easily take the second heat. And she's still learning certain events like the triple jump. Now we prepared for the third of what should be 4 heats in the girls 100. And you notice the different stances that some of the girls had. Some were in a total down stance, some were more in a distance stance. MBS on the girls' side with several sprinters up to about 400 meters is the strength of the team. And kind of in the mid-distance area for MBS is where they're searching to try to fill out a team. That's what makes track team championships so difficult to do. You have to have truly every spot not just covered, but also of some quality. And there are different sports where you can kind of hide players and still win championships in the high school level, but at the team level, in track, it's very difficult to be top heavy and still win championships. Fourth and final heat of the girls 100. And then we'll move on to a distance race of the 1600, which MBS will have 4 boys and 2 girls will run. Mountain Lakes does not have any runners going to the Penn Relays tomorrow. Yeah, they're still in a building situation, but under Rebecca Misko, now in her 5th year coaching the boys' side, she was probably is going to be in the Bucknell Hall of Fame. 4 times was All Patriot League as a thrower and was a discus Patriot League champion. And out of Madison High School went on to set several records at Bucknell and has been coaching almost since graduation. Now we get ready for the 1600. Out of the boys' side of the 1600, Justin Cothavale with the towering 6'4" Ian Patchett on his senior day. Senior Jonah Tinkelman and Nick Troiano. Troiano last year in the Morris County Championship, 17th in the 1600, 18th in the 3200, as he is just getting his career started. So it'll be 4 laps in the 1600. Troiano, not just a distance runner. He is a junior. He's run a mile in 4 minutes 35 seconds. Mountain Lakes, their best distance runner here, Max Kahn. Max Kahn will also be running the 3200 today, and he should stick out pretty easily. And Kahn is right next to Patchett at 6'4". And Kahn very much dressed like a track sprinter, going with the spandex tights. Watching him warm up and talking to the coaching staff of Mountain Lakes. So Kahn is certainly going to push the issue. And it's also a load of Mountain Lakes runners that will fill out this 1600. Almost a 2-to-1 disparity in the number of Lakers and MBS. Underway in the boys 1600. And leading the way immediately is Troiano to set the pack. So it's 4 laps here at MBS. Just checking on the flags. Fortunately for the moment, very little wind since the sun came out. So that's Mountain Lakes' Max Kahn in second. And Patchett right now just barely behind in fourth, and another Mountain Lakes runner is in third. This past weekend, MBS, they were at the Morris Relays, which was a competitive preview of the county championships. Troiano at the first lap. Kahn just looking very comfortable. Not necessarily worrying about winning this race yet, more about setting his pace, and then you make your move to win the race in order to capture the points for your team. Still, Nick Troiano, a junior of MBS, leading Max Kahn, senior from Mountain Lakes, as the peloton has now been spread apart, with Patchett now a distant fourth. And the separation has barely changed between the two. Only about 1.5 meter lead halfway through the 1600 in the boys today. Ralph Bednarchik from Play-by-Play Productions on a comfortable afternoon in Morristown. Senior Day 2024 at Morristown Baird. Boys and girls track and field against Mountain Lakes. And through 2.5 laps, there's been barely any separation between Troiano and Kahn, and they both appear to be very comfortable with that. Troiano in the lead and Kahn right behind him, 1.5 meters back. So Kahn, in this case, as the trail runner, also appears to be very comfortable in having Troiano set the pace. You'll hear track runners say that distance runners that I want I'm running the pace I want to regardless of who is around me. Final lap. Now Troiano seems like he has just upped his tempo a little bit. And MBS Nick Troiano now separating from Max Kahn. It's nearly a 5-meter lead here for Troiano. When will Kahn decide to make his move? Will it be the final 100? The orange cone will represent the final 100. There's Troiano, now in the final 100. Does Kahn have anything left in the tank? Troiano had extended. Troiano does not look like he is weakening in any aspect. Kahn is not going to catch him. And that is all. Nick Troiano takes the 1600 today by about a 5-meter length lead over Max Kahn. Now this is key in terms of scoring. Mountain Lakes will finish in 3rd place. 4th place, 5th place. And also in 6th place. 7th, so Mountain Lakes clearly, and then Patchett of MBS finally finishing 8th as the next Crimson. And that's where track meets can be won and lost, not just by volume, but look at all the points that Mountain Lakes just accumulated from 2 down through 7 in one race. Several runners still on their final lap here in the 1600. The girls' 1600 will be getting ready. In a second, MBS will have just 2 runners, Caroline Ruggiero, and then terrific runner India Weinman will run. India qualified for last year's Morris County Championships in the 800 and the 1600. India is a junior. She's run a 5-minute 52nd 1600. Starting to improve. And today will be her first 400 meter too, which she will do after running the 1600. And we're down to a final runner. It's from Mountain Lakes to conclude the boys' 1600. I think right in the middle for Mountain Lakes will be freshman Isabella Murata that will run here for Mountain Lakes as perhaps their best threat in this 1600 race. We'll see Kate Conklin coming up in the 400 and the 800, a sophomore for Mountain Lakes that could capture both races today. And Sabrina Burke, who is a qualifier in last year's Morris County Championships. Underway in the girls' 1600. The good time here will be in the 6-minute range. So it's India Weinman that immediately sets the tone and has a lead of 10 meters. And Weinman continuing to separate. And based on her pace, there is no doubt as far as who's going to score points here. And the question now for Weinman is going to be, can she make sure she's under 6 minutes and even challenge a PR? And right now her split here, she's already over 1 minute. Weinman completes her first lap at about 1:26 is her split. And I see in third place is young freshman Isabella Murata for Mountain Lakes. So 1, 2, and 3, a clear separation. And I think the third MBS runner on the back end of that is Riley Schmid, that I think is also running the 1600. MBS had just 2 immediate entrants, but of course changes can be made. You're allowed up to 4 events in a meet. Up next will be the boys and girls 400 meter dash. 1 lap around, 1 mile. Weinman's pace has slowed down, and the Mountain Lakes distance runner has crept on her a little bit. And as Weinman crosses, she's just at about 2 minutes and 58 seconds, so she's right around that 6-minute range. India's best time has been the 5:50 in this 1600. India also very busy in indoors. She's involved in the winter musical. Weinman is now further separated from the Mountain Lakes top distance runner in the 1600. And the gap is nearly about 15 meters and growing. And Weinman now pushing to a 20-plus meter advantage. And the 1600, as she's at basically 4.5 minutes as she is now deep into her 4th and final lap. Isabella Murata of Mountain Lakes remains in 3rd. 1, 2, 3 has been unchanged since the opening few meters. And Weinman now grows that. That's a full 25-meter advantage. India Weinman, give her credit, it looks like her splits are going to be pretty identical. India right now at 540. And she's going to be right about her 6 minutes or so, just under 6 minutes. 5:55 unofficially for India Weinman. Late push by the Mountain Lakes runner to narrow the gap a little bit to only about 15 meters in the finish. And then Isabella Murata will finish in 3rd for Mountain Lakes as we wrap up the girls' 1600. So MBS able to score points in winning both the boys and girls 1600. And then we'll look ahead to the 400 meter. And we've completed the girls' 1600. Now we get ready for one fast sprint all the way around the track. And the boys' 400, entrance from MBS will be freshman Jack Moore and also Jack Elsevier. Jack Elsevier has found a home in the 400 meters. 53 seconds has been the goal that Scott McCormick has put the carrot in front of the horse, saying you are so capable of reaching that.
400 meters. All girls running the 400, come over to me. Final call, girls, 400.
And we've got 2 and 2, 2 from MBS and 2 from Mountain Lakes. Elsevier will be in lane 4, lane 2, Jack Moore. Jack Moore, lane 2 from Chatham. Underway in the 400. And that is Elsevier. Obviously, you can notice his power. Commenting to Scott McCormick, saying, you know, he certainly has more of a high school football build. And that kind of power at that size. And you can see why the 400 could be his very best event. Elsevier coming up on 50 seconds. And Elsevier, yeah, basically finishes right at 52 seconds unofficially. Now the girls 200, we'll see Skylar Laguerre and Ayana Romans of MBS. And then Kate Conklin, one of the top runners, a sophomore for Mountain Lakes. Only one runner setting up here for Mountain Lakes. Ayana Romans and Laguerre in lanes 3 and 4 for MBS.
At this time, final call for the boys, 110 high hurdles. Final call for the girls, 100 high hurdles. Head down to the flag hole. Starter will be down there and set up the lane. Simon P. Hurdle crew, stand by.
Ayana Romans, only a freshman, also very new to the sport and working on power. Scott McCormick expects her to be a contributor in the future in a number of different events. Skylar Laguerre also playing varsity soccer this year. That is Laguerre that is in front and Romans behind her. And Laguerre is going to check in at 1 minute, almost 12 seconds. Up next, the boys and girls 100-meter hurdles. So the hurdles crew about to get ready, like a NASCAR pit stop, and quickly arrange all the hurdles. And here's where we'll see seniors Colleen Ewing that will race today. She's involved in the 4x400 relay tomorrow, so today is just kind of a light day, almost a half day for a high-level high school track athlete. Then we'll see Jack Elsevier on the boys' side, or check that rather, Luke Glassman from the boys' side and Michael Lattarulo both participated, but in the 100 girls, Madison Marks, who just ran the 100 in a heat, so she'll be back, and then Raida Kareem will run her premier event with Colleen Ewing, of course, trying to push her. Final hurdles are being put into place. Basically coordinating things is Chloe Higgins. Chloe's going to be running at Providence. She'll be running as part of the 4x400 relay in the pink sweatshirt. Higgins will be running in the 200 coming up as her lone event today. Chloe is super established runner that is getting kind of a half day off. Medaled in the 400 last year at the Meet of Champions in New Jersey. Participating in the finals in the 200, finishing 14th with a 12.63. Chloe also finishing second in the Morris County Championship in the 200 last year. She is an alternate in today's 4x400, but unlikely that we'd see her, because basically 24 hours before you race is really when your preparation begins, and that starts with stretching the day before, being well hydrated, and also getting a great night of sleep. And Higgins will run at Providence College, a place that has invested a lot of money into their facilities and also has a very good indoor facility to use. Even though they don't have football, they have enough for their athletes to use. I've been on their campus where if you run the 200 or the 400 like Chloe Higgins, you'll be in very good shape in terms of running there. And face it, if you're a winter track runner, or rather a spring track runner, you're going to have to get used to running in the cold anyway. And coming from New Jersey to Providence certainly should be an easy transition for Chloe Higgins. Final inspection of the hurdles. Everybody's giving the thumbs up. All right, so now we're ready for the boys' 100-meter hurdles. Luke Glassman and Michael Latterulo of MBS. And a Mountain Lakes runner losing their timing, and that will open up the door for the MBS runner at a lane 3, perhaps to capture it in a very tight race. Well, you don't see that often, but that's where practicing the hurdles, the momentum of the runner out of lane 2 for Mountain Lakes, he was off on his steps and he had no choice but to run into the hurdle. And that's where changing your pace at one, you think it's going to help you, but then it ends up hurting you because you're off in your steps. Now we get ready for the girls' 100-meter hurdles. Right now, Mountain Lakes does not have a hurdler here in the girls 100. MBS having 3.
From Mountain Lakes, report to the hurdle start. Jeanette. They're trying to get her from the javelin, coach.
And we're waiting for one Mountain Lakes runner in the 100-meter hurdles who is participating in the javelin throw, which is off of the football field. All the throws take place in another section, so it's an entire event where the throws are off where the football practice field is, kind of down below on the left, where the throwers between shot put, discus, and javelin are all participating. Usually everything is timed up where there shouldn't be any conflicts, but there ended up one. All right, we've got the thrower, and also Kate Conklin last minute is going to jump in here in lane number 2. For Mountain Lakes, Conklin did not run the 400. And out of lane 1, Madison Marks will be there for Morristown Baird. And MBS takes this race. And that was also running the 100 meters. Zoe Rowitz, looks like that she took that race. If not, actually may have been Colleen Ewing out of lane number 3. Colleen and her twin sister, part of a triplet, and Bridget. Both have been 4-year varsity in track and have played numerous sports at MBS. So we're completed with the girls 100-meter track. Now getting ready, or rather hurdles, now getting ready for the boys 800. On the girls' side will be a loaded field. On the boys' side, MBS scheduled to have Justin Cothavalli and Jonah Tinkleman. While Mountain Lakes, again, will have a boatload of runners. Mountain Lakes is small school Group 1, but tremendous athletic participation across all sports. Of course, headlined by their boys football and then girls and boys lacrosse teams that always compete for section championships out of North 1 Group 1. And then once they get there, they can just get past some of their local rivals in Morris County. Then they have real chances at state championships. But particularly the Herd, as they've been nicknamed under Coach Wilkins, and football at Mountain Lakes, one of the great traditions of New Jersey high school football is in Mountain Lakes. 10 runners from Mountain Lakes in the boys 800, 2 from MBS. So Justin Kathavali and Jonah Tinkleman. And already an immediate advantage for Mountain Lakes in the boys 800. Two laps around the track at MBS. Wind has been okay, but temperature at the start of this meet was 65 degrees and dropping. But fortunately, you could see how all the runners were able to be in tank tops today. A massive lead for the Mountain Lakes runner here in the boys 800. And it is Jonah Tinkleman of MBS. And ahead of him is Justin Kathavali, who just crosses the finish line now. Mountain Lakes was very young on the boys' side, but you could tell from a participation perspective, they're in great shape moving forward. They did not place in the Morris County Championship last year. They have freshman Tyler Kaplan running the 100 and 200. That is of note. That will be a big building block for Rebecca Misko. Now getting ready for the girls 800 and scheduled to run. Bridget Ewing for MBS, Sarah Marine, Emily Reitman on her senior day, and Caroline Ruggiero. And in the 800, with both ponytails out of lane 2, will be Kate Conklin, sophomore from Mountain Lakes. There'll be one to watch for in this race. So Kate Conklin is immediately out in front. And this is Conklin at the top for Mountain Lakes with a very comfortable pace. And Bridget Ewing on her senior day is in 5th place in this race, and all by her lonesome self, separated, no one really in front of her, no one really in back of her. Colleen and Bridget Ewing looks like they will split up and attend different colleges. Bridget Ewing was the lead in the winter musical this year. Final 80 meters for Conklin. And her Mountain Lakes teammate is going to make her earn it. And Conklin out of lane 1 will be passed by her Mountain Lakes teammate. Just narrowly a strong final 100 that was run by her Lakers teammate to take care of the girls' 800. And the 4 MBS runners that are participating. And Bridget Ewing, Sarah Marine, Zoe Rowitz, and Caroline Ruggiero. And senior Bridget Ewing crossing the finish line. All right, so the girls' 800 is complete. Now we get ready for what will be several heats of the boys' 200 and girls' 200. So we'll have one final individual sprint. Chloe Higgins was set up and expected to run in this as her lone tune-up ahead of tomorrow. And what a time it'll be, not just to participate and run at Franklin Field, but also to watch, I think, all the intensity that takes place at the Penn Relays inside Franklin Field. First of all, I know it is certainly complicated to get inside there at UPenn, but it is the center of the track universe for a day. A big crowd, a lot of kind of casual track fans will go watch. Last year, MBS brought a boys team in their 4x100 with Jack Elsevier and Spencer Anderson as a part of it. And this year, the girls team that'll be going, like Sierra Mark and Naomi Green, Chloe Higgins, and also Raida Kareem. So in the far left corner, in the down position, the boys 200. First of several heats. And it looks like Spencer Anderson is in lane 3. Spencer Anderson shares the 200-meter record. His second best event. Anderson will take the 200, and MBS is going to score as well third place points and fourth place points in the race. Spencer has also medaled in the 55-meter indoors in the New Jersey Meet of Champions, and has raced outside of high school in the New Balance Nationals to see Division I type runners. So he'll have a tough choice as far as how to fit into a track program. Track programs typically, if you ever go to a college track program, track championship, the rosters are loaded. Like Rowan University on the men's and women's side, they may have 50 to 60 each to cover all of the different events. So when choosing a school for track, it's also a volume of people that you will be inserting yourself into. Just to make a relay team can be difficult. And that is as a second relay team. Getting ready for the second heat in the boys 200. Underway in the second heat in the boys 200. Nana Adutwam Adai out of lane 2 for MBS. And for the final 30 meters, it'll be the Mountain Lake sprinter that will win the heat. We'll see Nana on the 4x100. He's only a freshman and is going to be probably in the slot of Spencer Anderson moving into next year in the 100 and 200. One final heat with 4 MBS runners and 1 from Mountain Lakes. And that'll wrap up the 200 before we get into the literal marathon, the 3200, 8 laps that'll follow. Then we'll move into the 4x400 relays before senior day will come to a close. Also the long jump, triple jump, shot put, discus, and javelin have all been happening over on the side field here. And that's what it looks like. That's what makes a high school track event special, where there's a lot going on in a 2-hour window. And then our officials will gather the information and see what the scoring ends up. Underway in the third and final heat in the boys 200. And we'll have 2 heats on the girls' side. And everybody that participated, including Anderson and Adutwa Madai, Kevin Elias, Jack Elsevier, Michael Latarulo, David Mensa, Darius Payne was in that run with William Ross, Ronnie Schreier, Jawad Travis, and Mason Wellington. Now for the girls 200. And MBS will have a ton of participants. This in the girls 200 is clearly Chloe Higgins. So Higgins in her 1 race today and her warm-up ahead of running tomorrow at the Penn Relays at Franklin Field. Looks outstanding. Higgins currently holds 2 individual records at MBS in the 200 and the 400. So she shows off in the 200. And the relay team that she'll participate with tomorrow, all of them get at least 1 race in. The 4x100 they'll run, and then also the 4x400. And Chloe is going to run in both races. Skylar Laguerre is going to go as an alternate. Freshman Clara Frey will be in the 4x400, so it is not copy and paste with the same exact runners. Second and final heat in the girls 200. Sophie Cohen, Sarah DeMello, Allison Delzo, and also Tori Holdsworth, Julia Carrison participating. The first heat had Zoe Rowitz. The Guyana Romans is in this heat, Lily Rubenfield and Janeba Tyler. This is Romans out of lane 1. That will set the pace. Or rather, check that, Skylar Laguerre jumping in. Was not expected in the 200, but coaches can make changes race by race as they go. So we've completed the boys and girls 200, and now we get ready for the grueling 3200. MBS has both of their distance runners, and Ian Patchett and Nick Troiano, scheduled. while it'll be India Weinman that will also run the 3200. About a half hour after running the 1600, and you can't overestimate or overstate how grueling that is. Each race is grueling, of course, for a high schooler, but then to have to do both in a matter of a half hour, and then the longer one is also second. I've always wondered, why would they not switch, put the 3200 earlier, and then the distance runners for the second distance race can run the shorter one second, because they're going to be, of course, tired. But it's never been that way. So Patchett, and actually everybody will be, this will be a boys and girls race in the 3200, so India Weinman will be on the right. And I see third from the left, Isabella Murata. Only a freshman, but Mountain Lakes has a lot of hopes for her as a future distance runner. Troiano, he'll be in lane 2. And senior Max Kahn of Mountain Lakes is in lane 1. Underway in the boys and girls 3200, 8 laps at MBS. Troiano will set his own pace. He took the 1600 earlier. And India Weinman will set the pace for the girls. She won the 1600 earlier herself. And that is Max Kahn that is in front, and MBS's Ian Patchett is in third. Patchett has been a very dependable distance program runner in his career. Scott McCormick loving any student that is willing to do anything for the program and fit in anywhere and take upon a role. Kahn leading the way. And among the block of girls, it is Isabella Murata that leads India Weinman after the first lap has been completed. at the first real split, 2 laps in. 2:37 for Max Kahn of Mountain Lakes. Patchett is in third, and then back in fourth, Nick Troiano. Both from MBS. Isabella Murata has increased her lead, so she paces the girls' side as she is another 30 meters away from crossing. Followed by India Weinman. Murata was also in the 1600, so who's going to have more left? And of course, the distance, the difference between a freshman and a junior, and then a much taller junior, all of that can account for a difference. Third lap completed as Kahn leads the 3200. Following this one, the 4x400 relays, where the relay teams are practicing their handoffs and their timing. A smooth exchange means so much. As Murata crosses, she's completed 3 laps. Kahn, chased by his Mountain Lakes teammate, is about to get to the halfway point. And he's at 5 minutes 18 seconds. Just as we saw in the 1600 earlier, between Troiano, who's chased by Kahn, there was no separation between the two. And that is the same here. Kahn and his Mountain Lakes teammate content to be separated and basically one run on top of another. Kahn, 2 laps to go. On to the final lap. And Mountain Lake's Max Kahn and his Mountain Lakes teammate have virtually been in the same spot the entire race. And on the girls' side, Isabella Murata's lead over India Weinman of Morristown Baird is now a good 40 meters. Nick Troiano of MBS is in third on the boys' side. And then a distant fourth is Ian Patchett. And this race really spread out quickly. Kahn, that's lap number 7. So in the final lap, who will make a move? 9 minutes, 22 seconds and counting. And on the far side, Kahn is about to get to 100 meters left. And Murata's pace, meanwhile for Mountain Lakes with 1 lap to go for the girls, has expanded. Her lead is now over 50 meters for India Weinman, for MBS's India Weinman. Now Kahn and his Mountain Lakes teammates wants to take the 3200 from him. Those two have been neck and neck, and his MBS teammate will take it. Max Kahn, after leading 98% of the 3200, he'll take second in the race. Troiano is going to take third, and Patchett will finish fourth. Here comes Troiano about to jump into your picture. There is Troiano crossing the finish line. After running the 1600, then the 3200, I'm sure he'll be the first one to tell you how difficult that is to keep up the same pace. Then about to jump into your picture will be Ian Patchett. So he'll finish in fourth. And with a time of 11 minutes and about 37 seconds. And then Isabella Murata is about to cross the finish line. Actually, Murata has 1 more lap to go, but her lead over Weinman is now pushing 60 meters. So credit Murata for looking even stronger perhaps in the 3200 than the 1600. Check that, Troiano had 1 more lap to go. There on your screen now is the leader on the girls' side, Isabella Murata of Mountain Lakes. it's tougher for Isabella Murata, or any runner in this case, that you're completely by yourself for so long, for 12 minutes. Whereas Khan and his Mountain Lakes teammate, they were able to kind of push one another. So you hope that you're running at a very good pace, but it always helps to have someone else kind of next to you to have a barometer. Are you running your vest towards a PR? It's not like there's a clock, a visible clock to know your splits. So Isabella Murata concludes, and she captures the girls' side with the best time. Here comes India Weinman as she crosses and finishes the grueling 3,200. And we just have 2 more runners, make that 3 more runners remaining. I think all 3 on their final laps in the 3,200. As we're on minute 15. And the final runner for Mountain Lakes will cross. And it is always something of note whenever the 3,200 comes to an end, because all the runners feel like they just experienced one journey together. So the entire field finishes basically in exactly 16 minutes. So now we get ready for the final event in the 4x400. The throwing events have completed. I think what looks like actually they're on the last. They may be just on the discus. So now our relay teams get together. In the boys 4x400 for MBS, Spencer Anderson, Jack Elsevier, Jack Moore, and Jawad Travis will participate. Jack Moore is going to be leadoff for MBS. Mountain Lakes is going to have a total of 12 runners, 3 races in the 4x400. Anderson is set to run second here. Freshman Jack Moore to try to get Morristown Baird started. And the final race of our Senior Day 2024 broadcast from Play by Play Productions. Underway in the boys 4x400. All runners will do 1 lap. Jack Moore, that inside position in lane 1. He's in front, and now a chance for Anderson to extend that lead. And a clean handoff for Anderson. Slow handoff for the third Mountain Lakes 4x400 relay team. That's going to cost them. There's Spencer Anderson. We'll see Jawan Travis also runs indoor track. Jack Moore also playing varsity soccer this year as a freshman. From a track family, as his sister is a runner, his twin sister is a runner at Oak Knoll. Anderson. And he'll give to Jawad Travis. Up third in the 4x400 for the boys. Final lap, Jack Elsevier got a clean handoff. Jawad Travis gave him some separation. And in the 4x400, this will be MBS's to take by a wide margin, even despite the Mountain Lakes anchor making up time on Elsevier. The top 4x400 for Mountain Lakes. Elsevier does take the 4x400 for the boys, and he was able to keep that margin that was started by Jack Moore, enhanced by Spencer Anderson, kept up by Jawad Travis, and finished off by Jack Elsevier. Now to the girls 4x400. Chloe Higgins was an alternate here for this, so that will obviously be a major difference maker, but she has already run in the 200. So let's say Chloe does not run here. It'll be Sarah DeMello with Skylar Laguerre, Madison Marks, and Ayana Romans for MBS. And that's going to be Romans that will lead it off for MBS out of lane 1. And Mountain Lakes will also have just one 4x400 team. So Skylar Laguerre is going to run either, looks like third or fourth, as she'll be traveling tomorrow morning to the Penn Relays as the alternate, so she also has to be ready. An unlikelihood, but there's always a possibility of running there, so you've got to act like you are going to run. Roman's got off to a fast start, but now on the handoff, and Mountain Lakes with a sizable lead that is growing. So the handoff was given to Sarah DeMello, it looks like, for MBS. Kate Conklin will be the anchor against Skylar Laguerre in this 4x400, but are the anchors going to matter? Madison Marks waits next, up third for MBS. And for Mountain Lakes, it is about a 65-meter advantage midway through the 4x400. Again, this is not the #1 relay team for MBS. So DeMello hands it off for Madison Marks, as Marks will try to make up some time and try to give Skylar Laguerre a chance against Mountain Lake sophomore Kate Conklin. Marks has perhaps made up about 10 meters or so on the third runner for Mountain Lakes. And now the handoff. All Mountain Lakes has to do is have it clean, and now Kate Conklin has it. In the final leg, the anchor in the 4x400 for Mountain Lakes. Meanwhile, Marks hands off to Skylar Laguerre. And Laguerre, can she close down and at least make Conklin feel her for the final 100 meters? Skylar Laguerre in the indoor season got hurt in the long jump, so she's been building herself back up. In terms of conditioning, plays varsity soccer. Conklin, clearly a powerfully built sophomore from her frame, who jumped into the hurdles last second, and she's still at the end of a long day of track. Looks like she can run another race. And Conklin does not relent. Actually, she even expanded the lead for Mountain Lakes in an impressive 4x400 relay. So Laguerre in her final 100 meters as the alternate tomorrow to the MBS 4x100 relay team and the 4x400 relay teams, with Chloe Higgins and Raida Kareem, Colleen Ewing, and Clara Fry. They'll run the 4x400 and the 4x100, with Higgins also running that with Sierra Mark, Naomi Green, and Raida Kareem. So 2 of them will do 2 relays tomorrow, Higgins and Kareem. So that wraps up the 4x400 boys and girls relay. All the other track events also, as I look to my left, have been completed as our judges will total everything up between the high jump, the long jump, triple jump, shot put, discus, and javelin have all been completed, and that is all for today's Senior Day 2024 for Morristown Baird. MBS 1 and 2 in dual meets coming in, while the girls 3 and 1 in dual meets. But the MBS girls did not have their full lineup because they are participating in tomorrow's Penn relays, so they want to be fully rested for those 2 relay teams, not just the relay teams that had their second units in there or reserves, but Higgins and Kareem in particular, Sierra Mark not running in all the races they normally would. So that's what the schedule will make it tricky. Mountain Lakes does not have any participants, boys or girls, in tomorrow's Penn relays. So congratulations to the 9 seniors at Morristown Baird, Track and Field Senior Day 2024. Spencer Anderson, the Ewings, Bridget and Colleen, Chloe Higgins. Good luck to her in the Penn relays. Ayana Hobbs, along with Emily Reitman, Ian Patchett, Jonah Tinkleman, and manager Kevin Tone. Great to have a manager also honored that wants to do all the little things behind the scenes just to be a part of a team, even if they're not physically running. Managers can be invaluable, especially at the high school level where there is even less glory compared to being a manager at the collegiate level. So thank you in particular, Kevin Tone. That'll do it for our entire crew here. For our cameraman today, Body by Jake Gallagher, and for our producer and director today, Simon Rosenwasser, my name is Ralph Benorchik saying so long and goodbye. Congratulations to the MBS 9 seniors. You've been watching MBS against Mountain Lakes in Track and Field Senior Day 2024 from Play by Play Productions.